Total, you're going to be paying about 38.5% of your net income for child support for 3 children. Please don't interrupt me, Mr. Mitchell, when I'm making my announcement. My understanding is that neither party in this case has been served. Ms.
Yes, sir.
Alexander?
Yes, Your Honor, neither party has been served.
Miss Stroud and Mr. Mitchell, under the laws of this state and in this country, anytime there is a lawsuit filed and you are a party to the lawsuit and your name appears in the lawsuit, you're entitled to request that whoever filed that lawsuit send somebody to your house or to where you work and hands you a copy of the actual paperwork that contains the information about the lawsuit. Now, you don't have to do that. You can say, Judge, we understand what this lawsuit's about and we're ready to go forward today. But that is your right to force the AG's office to send somebody to where you work or where you live and give you those papers. Miss Stroud, do you understand that that is your right?
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to send them out there to give you the papers?
No, sir.
All right. Mr. Mitchell, do you understand that that is your right?
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to make them come out there and give you the papers?
No, sir.
All right. I find that both parties have voluntarily waived service in this case. Miss Alexander, this appears to be a motion that you filed way back in April of 2022,
Yes, Your Honor.
almost to the date, a year and 2 days old. All right. Call your first witness.
The state will call Miss Stroud. Miss Stroud, what is your full name?
Charlotte Marie Stroud.
And what is the name of the child before the court?
Mackenzie Lenay Mitchell.
Okay. And there was a prior order that was done back in January of 2018. Does that sound about right?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the state asked the court to take judicial notice of the court's file, specifically the order entered January 14th, 2018.
Court will take judicial notice of its own file.
Okay. And in that prior order, it ordered medical support of $61 and child support of $335. Both of those were to start January 1st, 2018. Does that sound about right, Ms. Stroud? Ms. Stroud, can you hear me? Ms. Stroud, we cannot hear you if you're trying to talk.
She's not.
Sorry, I'm back. I had lost service. We lost power.
Oh, okay. So I think, let's go back. I think I was asking you about the January 8th, 2018 order. Is that what you last remember?
I believe so. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where dad was ordered to pay $61 in medical support and child support in the amount of $335 to start January 1st, 2018. Does that sound about right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How is Mackenzie covered with health insurance?
She has Texas Children's Medicaid.
Okay. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Call your next witness.
Call Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, what is your full name?
Timothy Mitchell III.
Okay. And the name of the child before the court is Mackenzie Mitchell, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you do recall that prior order that was done back in 2018, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where do you currently work?
At Pepsi Co.
And how long have you been working there?
For about 5 years.
Okay. And how much do you make?
$20.10.
And that's $20.10 an hour, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many hours do you normally work a week?
40 to 30, 35 to 40 hours.
Okay. But general over the course of the year, how much does that average out
They
to?
tell us that they give us 40, but a lot of times it's slow throughout the year, all year long, basically, until summertime it picks up and we get our 40 hours during the summertime. But then after that, we get about 35 to 38 hours.
Do you ever do any overtime?
No, ma'am. I'm on day shift. We're not allowed to do overtime.
Do you have any other children other than Mackenzie?
Yes, ma'am.
How many other children?
2 children, twins.
And they're your biological children under the age of 18, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Call your next witness.
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. I mean, it's just a simple math problem, y'all. Miss Stroud, you got any questions or comments about this case before I make a ruling? Miss Stroud, can you unmute, please?
Sorry. No, sir, I don't.
All right. Mr. Mitchell, you got any questions or comments about this case before I make a ruling?
Yes, sir. So that was the whole point of having to come and see you. It was no disrespect to the attorney. I think she's a very great lady.
Sure.
But because I just went through my divorce and the state just set my child support for my other 2 children,
Right.
I was asking her now if they're going to, because they were asking me to give her more now, is there a way to handle it to where the state itself will readjust everything because they've already just now adjusted it for the two twins that I have.
Right.
And they based it off of what she was already getting. So now she's getting more, which, that's fine.
I don't know who she is. Sorry.
Charlotte, Miss Stroud.
Okay.
So if they're trying to give her more, which,
right.
If that's what it's based off of in a percentage, then that means the other kids get a lower percentage. So they're going to have to go and readjust that as well. The attorney was telling me that
that's not true, Mr. Mitchell.
So if they give the older child more, which is the percentage, you're saying that the lower percentage that they're not supposed to get less now?
I have no idea, Mr. Mitchell, and have no understanding of what it is that you just asked me. I'm sorry.
So what I'm asking is the state, will they have to adjust because they just adjusted the child support based off of what I was doing, because I just had a divorce December 29th of last year. The state was just involved with the child support within the last 6 months. And so they just adjusted everything to where I was paying for the twins to where everybody was getting the percentage that they're supposed to get. So now if they turn around and give the oldest child more because she gets a more percent, then that means that they would have to go and readjust the twins, which get a lesser percent.
Why is the percentage changing?
Yeah, because the first child, from what the attorney told me, the first child gets 25%.
No, Mr. Mitchell, that's not true.
So when I just went through court and the judge just told me the first child gets more percentage, and then for each child after they get a less percentage, like I think goes from 25 to 20.
If you had all of your children with one mother, that would be the case, but you don't. You have two children with one mother and one child with a different mother. And so your children do not receive the same percentage in child support. Your two children with your ex-wife receive 22.5% of your net income for child support. Miss Stroud is going to receive 16% of your net income. So total, you're going to be paying about 38.5% of your net income for child support for three children.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's what I'm saying. So since they just adjusted it and now they're trying to adjust it again, why is it raising then if she's getting a lesser amount or a lesser percentage?
It's raising because your income is higher today than it was 5 years ago when this order was done in 2018.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking, just trying
I'm
just trying to get a clarification on what's going on.
Mr. Mitchell, you're making it much more complicated than what it actually is. Okay. Your child support is based on a percentage of your net income, but it's based on a percentage of your net income by the number of children that you have.
Yes, sir.
You don't pay the same percentage of income for each child. You pay a breakdown of a percentage based on how many children you have with each different mother. It's set in stone. I mean, there's no adjusting it. You're going to pay 16% of your net to Miss Stroud for one child and 22.5% of your net to your ex-wife for those two children.
Okay.
And all the way through your entire history, if you don't have any more children from now until your children age out, you're always supposed to pay 16% to Miss Stroud and 22.5% to your ex-wife.
Yes, sir. That's what I was just trying to get clarification on, because I thought it was 25 and then 22. So that's why I was like,
no.
I was like, that's going to be almost over half my income.
Pretty close.
And I just want to make sure that I'm still able to stay stable for my kids, so that way they have a place to live whenever they're with me. That was it. That's why I was just making sure. I was just trying to clarify.
You're still going to have a difficult time, Mr. Mitchell. We're still talking about over 38% of your net income. You're getting pretty close to 50% now.
Trust me, I know. Yes, sir.
All right. I hope I helped you, Mr. Mitchell. Child support in Texas is very complicated, but the percentages are set according by statute. So that's never adjusted. It's your income that adjusts the child support, not the percentages.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Court's going to find the court's jurisdiction. The court's going to find, based on the testimony of the parties, there has certainly been a material substantial change of circumstance. In fact, there's been two. There's now a set of twins involved in the situation because Mr. Mitchell has two other children, and Mr. Mitchell is making more money today than he was 5 years ago. Child support in this case is being increased to $435 a month. Medical support will be increased to $75 a month. Both payments beginning May 1st of 2023. Miss Stroud will be ordered to maintain the health insurance that she has on the child. and court costs will be paid by Mr. Mitchell, but I'll give him until October 31st. of
Your Honor.
2023 to pay my, please don't interrupt me, Mr. Mitchell, when I'm making my announcement.
Yes, sir. I was just.
It's
'cause
very rude.
I wasn't trying to. I'm sorry. It was just the numbers because you said 75, but they told me 50. So I'm
You
trying
didn't
to
make an agreement, Mr. Mitchell.
Oh, okay.
It was left to me. You're supposed to pay 9% of your total income for health insurance. I just divided amongst the 3 children.
Okay. And
Right? You might find, Mr. Mitchell, that if you've been working at Pepsi Co long enough, you can go get health insurance on your kids. It might be cheaper for you to do it that way than having all your children on Medicaid, but I'll leave that up to you.
it wasn't because the last judge just told me I'm underneath the 9%. So that's why they kept them on the Medicaid.
That's a deal that you made with the state, Mr. Mitchell, and I'm okay with honoring that. That's what your children have at this time. So that's the numbers that I ordered. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Mitchell, Miss Stroud, they're going to send y'all a copy of the order after I sign it. It should be in the next week